Hey, how's it going, everyone? Appreciate you joining us, and just give another minute for people to start filing in. Off the bat, appreciate your questions, Benjamin. Good stuff. Give it another few seconds, and then we'll get it rolling. Alrighty. Well, thank you, everyone, and this is Cold Summer bringing you this week, week 6 of You Heard. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to join us and learn a little bit more about the project and the direction that we're going. This week we're going to be focused on the champions table. Give a little around the horn from everybody on the call, just saying hello. I don't know if Wally, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah. Hey everyone, happy Friday. Thanks for joining.
Hey everyone, it's Bobby. How you doing?
Hey, Mr. Mister here. Thanks for joining. Looking forward to it. Thanks.
Hey guys, A here. Welcome.
Alrighty, good stuff, good stuff. So this week, like I mentioned, we want to just kind of explain the champions table, the motivation for the program, why we're looking to do this, the key components, how everybody can get involved, and what's really at play here. And gonna turn it over to AE, as this has really been something that he's pushed for, and he's been super active in Champions Hall and really just running a lot of that community engagement. And I think I've had a lot of positive feedback from that, and looking forward to seeing that continue to transition and evolve into this broader champions table program, and looking forward to seeing how it unfolds. So with that, I'm gonna turn it over to AE, and he's gonna kind of walk through some of the major components and motivation for the program.
Right, thanks. So the Great Harvest obviously is very nice. You get a lot of tokens for being an early supporter, but the Champions table is supposed to offer another set of incentives that are more in a non-financial realm. So we're talking about merchandise, we're talking about NFTs, we're talking about collectibles, and just because all the community engagement we've had in the Champions Hall Discord channel so far has been received so well, I think this is a really nice way to again reward early investors for buying into that vision of V3 and of making DeFi easy for everyone, and also just to make to add a lot of fun events where you can earn more yAxis and where you can uh, decide on things more in the protocol. So everything is going to be community oriented. The designs, they're all going to be community sourced. We're all going to open them up through contests, and all the voting on the designs to pick one is also going to be done through the community. Yeah, so one thing that we did was host a survey where you all got to give feedback on the champions table. And the main thing that I received in your open messages is that everyone wanted to include all participants of the yAxis ecosystem, yAxis ecosystem, not just stakers. So we're going to make it inclusive. We're going to make sure everyone gets a chance to participate, and also that people who come to buy into the project later have a chance to enter as well. We don't want to exclude anyone. So that's basically the overview. And as for the components of the champions table, there are a couple of different ones. You can find them in the Medium article, of course, but I'll summarize them again. So, what we've got coming up on Saturday is the first design contest. That's going to be a key theme. We're going to have multiple big design contests with large prizes, and the first one is going to be to design a physical coin, which it's going to have 2 weeks of runtime, so everyone gets plenty of time to participate, and eventually the vote is going to be on snapshot through through quadratic voting as always. So smaller holders get a chance to decide as well, and the prize is going to be at least $2,500 worth of yAxis, and then one of those same physical coins that we're going to mint, and possibly further rewards down the line, like other types of merchandise or collectibles or NFTs, whatever. Then further on down the line, one exciting thing that we have coming up is the end of era rewards. So towards the end of this era, we're going to have a series of special prizes for people who have done certain things on chain, and also for people who have done certain things for the community. But the details on that are not going to be revealed just yet, so you can't get your seat there unless I mean you can't just cheat your way to your seat on the champions table by doing things and gaming that. We're going to keep that secret, and we're going to keep it exciting, and you're all going to hear more about that towards July. That's pretty much all we've got going on.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, AE, for that, and really excited to see the end of era awards, and some of the things people that have done the impossible on chain, and looking forward to seeing how that shapes up, and then also looking forward to just continuing to reward early supporters and active community members, and really just continuing to make that a core component of the project. It's like if you're here and you're involved, you're going to be incentivized and rewarded for that. So with that, we're probably going to take it to starting with the questions that were asked early, and then we'll move it to the live questions. Feel free to again kind of upvote the questions that you like the most that are coming through live.
Yeah, just one more thing that I forgot to mention. Just because we're going to do these contests now and that we're going to move towards the champions table prizes doesn't mean that we're going to stop with button hunts and quizzes and all that sort of community engagement. That's still going to happen all the way throughout the era.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for that. That's good. Important clarification for sure. So the first question of the week was from Crypto Force One. Do you pronounce it yAxis or yAxis? What's the official pronunciation? Usually it's just yAxis when it's about the project, and then you could say yAxis for the token. Zemus, the question of the week: when Binance? Soon TM. Realistically, kind of as we've discussed a few times, it becomes a little more feasible post V3 launch with a little more TVL, a little more buzz, and likely higher market cap by then. Because at the end of the day, those centralized exchanges just want to do volume, and we could even consider maybe like a BSC integration down the line if that helped further the cause. But I mean, also something to think about, like depending on how these L2 launches go, you got Arbitrum, Optimism coming, and some of these other L2 launches, even some of the dexes over on Polygon. We may never really need to pay or for and kind of maintain a centralized exchange listing, because the dex experience might get that much better. So something to kind of keep in the back of our mind as we're sort of waiting for era 2 and V3 to really start to make some of those decisions as a community. But keep in mind that the dex experience should get drastically better over the coming months. And another question was, how many seats are at this champions table? And the answer is simply just as many as there are community members willing to participate. I mean, obviously for some of the specific prizes and end of era awards, those will go to specific individuals who done the impossible on chain, and also maybe been more active participants. But that being said, and as far as the design contests go, and the coin test that starts this weekend, anyone is open to participate. Flynn asked, what is the origin story of AE? So AE, I'm gonna pass it to you to give a little like 30-second elevator pitch as to why you got involved and what drew you to the project.
Yeah, just to get that started, my history in blockchain is actually kind of long. I'm just kind of an early adopter of all these tokens that we're going to have for canonical vaults, but I never really took it seriously. So I'm like the guy who bought Ether for like $3 and then sold it for $10. But last year when DeFi Summer really started, I started to really understand what what cryptocurrencies offer, and I really became an investor in it for the tech and not just in it for the money. And what interested me about yAxis was that the mission of yAxis is to make DeFi easy, to make it simple for everyone, and to make it accessible to everyone. I think that's really important because DeFi, if you enter it, it's just so complicated. You have to spend so much time on learning things, and even if you're a DeFi native, you're going to miss opportunities. You're going to make the wrong decisions, and I think it's really such a good thing that yAxis, in the end game, the goal of yAxis is to have a DAO that pools knowledge so that everyone benefits from those who really understand DeFi. Even if you don't understand DeFi, you just deposit funds. You know you have a large community of holders that do understand DeFi and can invest your funds for you in a way that that maximizes your return, adjusted for risk, of course. So it's not the only project that I'm interested in, but it's one of the main ones that I'm interested in. And one thing that I also really liked about the project is that the team is very communicative, and especially Transfer and Call, some of his messages from early on that you can find in Discord, they just show that he has really great long-term vision, and that's what I really appreciate about yAxis.
Yeah, no, that was great. All good stuff there. So John Doe asked, really liking the progress, and it seems like every week there's a partnership or something else positive. But he said would like to see it headed further down this general direction. Would you consider allocating some of the earnings from the vault or the Great Harvest toward marketing the project via influencers, YouTube channels, and general exposure? And so our approach here is kind of, as you've seen, has just been like as a project has been pretty multifaceted. I mean, some of the things that you kind of suggested have already kind of happened, and then you're also seeing lots of partnerships, as you mentioned. I mean, it seems like we're announcing a new partnership or a new integration or a new whitelist, at least once or twice per week. We've been really active there. Shout out Mr. for really coordinating those relationships, and shout out the community for really doing those button hunts and pushing that through, and showing the interest and really communicating that to these potential partners, and that really helps drive a lot of exposure. Some of the research platforms and articles like what we saw with Masari, that offered a lot of exposure. I've had people DM me saying that they found the project through that, through the Masari article. So that's another way to kind of get exposure. And then in addition, Flynn kind of mentioned this a bit as well, just kind of like incentivizing grassroots community engagement and contributions, and quizzes, and just driving awareness, and building that strong community base that's going to be advocates for the project. And so that's really like the way. So it's sort of like a multifaceted marketing approach rather than strictly just throw things at influencers and stuff like that. So really just trying to be thoughtful about that, and really building something that's sustainable and for the long term. And so and as Bobby kind of mentioned in the channel as well, the marketing to institutional capital is part of the end vision as well. So want to be highlighting the security features in pitch decks, et cetera. And the partner program is also in development. We've kind of hinted at that a bit, but not quite shipped on that yet. But these are different things that are going to market to some of the deeper pockets from traditional fields, maybe not as much crypto native. So really trying to touch kind of every potential pool of capital, and then the different verticals within that. So trying to be really thoughtful about that. Rafiki asked, is there going to be some type of membership utility for the yAxis token, which boosts staking or MetaVault APY, or gives other benefits in Era 2? So, right off the bat, for stakers, obviously, gauges. So the gauges coming in Era 2 will, if you kind of do some type of a time lock with that, you're going to get you're going to get your share of the 600,000 yAxis boost for stakers as a part of the Great Harvest. Time lock, you can lock for the longer you lock throughout the era, the more you'll be boosted, the more you receive. And then also, gauges allow vault users to vote on directing emissions to their desired vaults. So this creates incentives to hold the token, and builds token utility directly into the use of the platform. Again, with that time lock component, so you're gives us some more optionality in creating long-term alignment and kind of just multifaceted token utility. So not only is it accruing value for stakers, but it's through revenue, and then also integrating it directly into the use of the platform as well. So Crypto Force One asked another question. What happens in the long future when all emissions are released? How will we pay for developers and more growth? So kind of more on the product side, emissions, serve as a bridge to institutional capital that's focused a little bit more on security, institutional grade features, and kind of giving this period sort of gives us time to build those out and prove we can operate at scale. And then for the development funds, development funds should last beyond emissions. You don't necessarily have to use them exactly as they are emitted. And then also part of the performance fee revenue also goes to the treasury, which provides, self-sustaining long-term funding. So, as the project's generating revenue, then it will have the funds it needs to sort of continue to persist. And, with that decentralized DAO directed management just really being sort of the end game. Bobby, do you have anything to add to that?
You covered it pretty well there. Yeah, just one correction there. We don't take any cut to the treasury right now, but that's something that we can turn on after the emissions end. For example, just as an example, we could end up with, once there's no more emissions, just taking 10% of the performance fee into the treasury to pay for, team and development and growth and stuff like this. So there's a bunch of different ways we can do things afterwards. But yeah, currently we don't take anything out of the performance fee.
Yeah, good clarification there. That was more what I was referring to, is like sort of a long term, in a no emissions environment. That's kind of how things would approach. So good clarification there, Bobby. Thank you. SRA1 asked, when is the team planning to announce Era 2 details, locking options, rewards? Look for something a little closer to the launch. We're still, just under 2 months, but definitely an article coming soon as to kind of what's ahead. And also looking for some community discussion on this in the near future as well. So just stay tuned. Things are in the works. It's just got to take the time to get everything right and make sure that everything's presented correctly. So just stay tuned on that, and it will be soon TM. So Crypto Force One, we're gonna put a cap on Crypto Force One. Only get 2 questions next week. No, I'm kidding. But what are the estimated APY rates for the upcoming vaults, and how those rates compare to the DeFi vault competition? Referring to Ethereum, Link, BTC. Basically for a more detailed answer to this, I would kind of recommend you revisit the week 3 canonical vaults you heard, and weekly yAxis, where we kind of walk through some of the TVL on the market that we could attract and sort of outcompete on yield, and discuss how the vaults are designed to support high APY even at 1 billion plus TVL. The overall too long didn't read of the whole situation is kind of just it's a much less penetrated market than stablecoins, which is the market that we're currently targeting. So we can be a little bit more efficient in terms of the TVL we're able to attract per amount of emissions. So definitely a more favorable market. And Ethereum yields very, very low. You have a lot of TVL, hundreds of millions of TVL earning low single digit yield right now. So pretty easy to scoop that, considering we're probably going to be able to top up the on top of a base underlying strategy. We'll be able to top up that yield by double digit percentage, even up to high amounts of TVL. So well positioned there. There's currently very few places to really earn yield on Link. Everybody knows the Bancor pool is always full. So we're definitely well positioned. Like I said, more specifics if you want to check out that episode, and the weekly yAxis as well should give you a little more little more specifics, but happy to answer any follow-up questions from there. And just in addition, like, keep in mind that we're top of stack, so we can stay agile and kind of ride the winners. And if there's any new strategy that comes up that we should plug into, we're able to do that. So you want to just think about, like, there's no real direct competition. We kind of just benefit from whatever pops up and whatever's doing well, as long as it kind of can prove that it's secure. We'll definitely willing to go there. I mean, for example, the Badger Wrap Bitcoin Vault is pretty solid APY for Bitcoin. So that's a place that we could very easily plug into. And so we're not a competitor to Badger. We're actually a user of their vaults, so it benefits both of us. And then with that, moving to the live questions. So Benjamin, it looks like both of your questions are relatively kind of similar, sort of the same question. I would say first is that, like, the goal of the vaults is to earn yield on the underlying asset. So it's not to like it's the underlying performance of the asset, like the underlying performance of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, that's sort of independent from the vault. That's so you're just looking to generate yield on that underlying asset, because you can't start really trying to trade the underlying assets, because then you might underperform to the upside and otherwise. So just earning passive yield on the underlying asset. That being said, I see your questions a little bit more geared toward the delegated strategies, which is, depositing some of these underlying assets as collateral and then borrowing against. So obviously, when you do that, there's a certain liquidation price and loan to value that you want to keep to make sure that it's safe, and that's kind of what your question's referring to, and that's obviously a great question. So a few things on that. I think first, probably look to deposit to places that are like a curve pool, for example, and then building out the automated monitoring or response to have different risk parameters that would prevent such situations. But also know that, like, it's currently 24/7, like, oversight. And then in addition to that, I mean, we're building out the insurance later on, in later eras as well, which will also help to this effect. But in terms of, like, real specific risk parameters, it can follow up a transfer and call and see what he's willing to write up, and then I can get you kind of a more detailed answer after. And also, like I said, I mean, we're gonna probably put out an article pretty soon about what's ahead with canonical vaults. So soon TM on that, and then I think that will probably help answer some of your questions as well. But like I said, I'll talk to transfer and call once we kind of get off the call here, and then hopefully get you a little bit more of a detailed answer. And again, looking to use insurance and kind of the long term as a little bit more of like built-in insurances to cover some of the edge cases, but automated monitoring or response to kind of monitor things in real time as well. So really the major theme here is just automation, and always security first. So moving towards more and more automation over time is really the key. Loki X, is DeFi insurance necessary, or is it just a redundant feature and a cash grab? So, I mean, as you can see, like, smart contract risk is real. I mean, we tend to vet strategies, as a project, we tend to vet strategies that are going to be on the safer side, that have kind of been a little bit more battle tested. So, maybe a little less important for the strategies that yAxis tends to plug into, but still important. I mean, these things happen, unfortunately. Like I said, smart contract risk is real. So the nice part about what yAxis is looking to build is just a built-in insurance feature, so it's just built into the yield. So you offer higher yielding people are able to stake in a separate contract to earn that higher yield, and then they kind of collateralize the system in the case of any sort of a smart contract risk in the underlying strategies or some type of exploit in any of the underlying strategies. So we also diversify the risk surface. So if by using multiple strategies, you're diversifying the risk surface by not being all in one thing, which is a huge advantage. And then on top of that, offering that built-in insurance feature to bake it right into the yields. You don't have to go to a third-party provider and hope that they pay out. So just really baking that into the yield and integrating into the platform. And these are the types of things that people with deep pockets, like the traditional money, that they're going to want to see that, because they're going to want to know that their funds are protected even in edge cases or even in smart contract risk situations. So definitely not a cash grab, definitely not a redundant feature. Definitely something that's going to be a key differentiator for us. I mean, I think somebody popped in the Discord the other day and was saying that, like, we need to make this front and center in a lot of our communications because it really is huge. So Flynn asked, you actually mint the physical coin. A says, yep. So yep, there will be an actual physical coin. Mr. Don Joe says, what does that mean? Done the impossible on chain? Oh, yeah, I mean, that's just like it's just going to be like a fun thing for the rewards. It's not going to be for the champions table end of era awards. It's just going to be like a fun community thing. It's not anything serious. It's just, a fun thing to include people into the champions program. That's all, and just provide some awards. And again, non-financial, non-financial rewards. Just fun stuff for the community. That's all. Nothing.
Yeah, but just to give like a little hint, it's about interacting with our token on chain. So things you did on Uniswap, things you did on the app, those are the sort of things that will qualify you for prizes. And more than that, I can't really reveal because it's meant to be a secret, so you can't game. But anyway, it's not financial, and you don't need to understand DeFi to qualify for it. I think that's important to know.
Yeah, exactly. It's open to anyone and everyone that's ever used the yAxis ecosystem of products, or traded the token on Uniswap, etc. So and Benjamin, trying to just read Benjamin's question really quick. Yeah, no, I mean, obviously TNC is definitely at work on on the risk parameter front. So definitely catch up there and get you some more detailed answers. So we'll connect there, and I'll put the response in the channel as well, so everybody can see. And then Mr. Donjo, sorry, I missed that little follow-up question. As a follow-up to this to the story of AE, does AE stand for something or come from somewhere? AE, do you got an answer for that?
Yeah, so what I typed in like 18 years ago, I signed up for a forum to play RuneScape for the first time in my life. I had to write up a nickname, and I just mashed my keyboard, and these were the first two letters.
That's deep, man. That's deep.
Looks like we got another RuneScape fan in the house. Flynn is intrigued, but it's too funny. All right, well, so it looks like major things on our end is just we'll have the recording up as soon as we can, as usual, and then Benjamin, I'll follow up and get some more details for you, and obviously those will be shared with the community as well. But just know that, like, planning over the next month and a half, a lot of communications leading up to that point. So a lot of these things will sort of come out in the coming communications as we sort of ramp to V3 and canonical vaults. So big times ahead, and want to make sure that the comms kind of live up to that, and really make sure everyone understands the value proposition and what's in front of us. So appreciate the time today. Appreciate everyone joining. We had some really fantastic questions today. So appreciate this, and hopefully people learn something, and we'll see you on the call next week. We'll see you around the Discord, and hope to be in touch again soon. You take care and enjoy your weekend.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
See you later, guys.